Data obtained by Sky News reveals there has been a dramatic fall in alcohol-related hospital presentations and domestic violence incidents since alcohol bans were reinstated in Alice Springs. Live to Matt Cunningham with this story. Matt, talk us through what this data says.
Well, it tells a pretty clear picture, Tom, and that is that once those alcohol bans in Aboriginal town camps were reinstated, there was a significant drop in both domestic violence-related and alcohol-related presentations at the Alice Springs Hospital. Let's run through the data here. So it was on the 6th of February the government announced it would reinstate those alcohol bans that were lifted on July 17 last year. For the week ending February 10, it was down 14.2% compared to the baseline figure for 2021-22. The next week down 20.8%. It was down 8.4% the week after, down 22% the week ending the 3rd of March. Down 27.3% the 10th of March and up 4% the week ending the 17th of March. Now, if we compare that to the week that those alcohol bans were lifted in July last year, in that week alone it was up 32.9%. Now, that's just a snapshot of those figures, Tom, but I can tell you that if you have a look at the data, a broad look at the data, you can tell that when those bans were lifted in July last year, both domestic violence and alcohol-related presentations immediately shot up and remained high for the next 6 months or so. When those bans were reinstated over the past 6 weeks, the data we have available shows that there has been a significant decrease in those presentations at the Alice Springs Hospital. Robin Lambley, the independent Alice Springs MP, was asked about this data by Laura Jays a short time ago. Here's what she had to say.
Just because there's been a reduction doesn't mean it's gone away. And just over the last week, we've seen an escalation again in violence in our town. But what they see at the emergency department at the hospital really it provides a really good indication of just what's going on at the grassroots in our community.
All right, so Matt, the NT government will also introduce new bail laws today. What changes are they making?
Well, we're going to see a change for the presumption of bail for violent offenders, people accused of violent offences with a weapon. We know that 10 days ago, the 20-year-old bottle shop attendant Declan Laverty was stabbed to death at the Darwin Airport Tavern bottle shop, and the man accused of his murder, a court heard subsequently that he was on bail at the time of that incident for a previous aggravated assault with a bladed weapon. The government announced yesterday it will change the laws. That legislation's been introduced to the Parliament yesterday. It's expected to be passed today, and it will change the presumption of bail from neutral to against for anyone charged with a violent offence using a weapon. There are calls, though, for the government to go further.
Your announcement at lunch is welcome, but it must go further. Chief Minister, why have you limited your bail changes to weapons and not all violent assaults?
That's the opposition leader, Leah Finocchiaro. She says the presumption of bail should be against any violent offender, whether they use a weapon or not. Here's how the Chief Minister responded to that question.
We'll never stop looking at ways to improve community safety. It is tragic when we see an event such as what happened last week, and our community is hurting. Our community is grieving for Declan, for his family, for those workers that he worked with, and for our broader community. Will be considered and measured, but where there is work to be done, we will absolutely do that work.
Parliament should begin debating that legislation in about 20 minutes' time, Tom, but it is expected to pass the Parliament today with the support of the opposition.